Thank you, Chris. Thank you, everyone. I think this is the first time I sit here when you.
Yeah, I think so. All right.
All right. Well, first of all, I would like to appreciate what Chris and Jazz has done so far. You've done a great job, and you have been really part of our family. We appreciate your presence in here. We pray that this fellowship will grow, and we look forward to it. Okay. So today, Lenny asked me whether offer me, do you want to, she said, okay, do we want to call for a guest speaker, or you want to fill in? I said, okay, let me fill in. Okay, there's a small group of people here. Okay, and in order to help with what I'm going to talk about, I prepared a little PowerPoint. I'm not sure it's going to work or not. Because the size is different. There you go. Oh, okay. Right. It looks pretty good. Okay, good. So, all right. And this sounds like a big subject, but it's actually, I'm trying not to make it too complicated. But okay, but as I this past, well, not only this past year, but actually like even before that, even when I first know Christ. I know Christ when I was in college. Believe it or not, I accepted Christ as Savior in UC Berkeley. It was liberal school in the world. So that's probably a miracle, but that's what happened. But after I work and then I started family and started to follow news and all those things, it's come to my realization that more and more we see young people transfer to college and they basically abandon God when they're in college. Okay. And the percentage is staggering. I know they have a lot of debate out there about what is the correct percentage. I don't know which one is the correct number. Maybe between 60 and 70%, which is kind of despairing. The number is very, very bad. So it's so come to it's something that as we are all Josh, Isa, Elizabeth, we go to college. Elizabeth had been in college for several years already. But when we're preparing our youth to go to college, it's kind of a challenging task, because it's something that looks like it's just like a bottomless well. You just throw things in there and it's never come back. Okay, but so we need to pray a lot. Okay, but one thing that we need to also, as students, as young people, we need to equip ourselves. I went to college not believing in Jesus, but I did meet some people, in college, some people that I didn't know before. They was actually boldly share the gospel of Christ with me. I remember I was in lunch break at UCLA, just on that meadow, green grass, just enjoying my hot dog, and someone just came to me, someone I didn't know, and just say, hey, do you want to hear what good news? I wasn't a Christian at the time. I didn't know Jesus. I went to church, because my girlfriend asked me to. Yeah, but I kind of allergic to Christianity. And this guy, this young, I think he's like a sophomore or junior in college, and he just, talked to me, and share with me, give me like a little booklet that show, hey, this is salvation, this. I didn't care about that at the time, but after, several years later, after I accepted Jesus Christ, I remember that. I never know his name, but I remember his boldness, his graciousness, because I did say something kind of, not very nice, a little sarcastic, but he just, accepted very graciously. And I came to pray for him, when I remember him, I don't know his name. When I met him today, I probably don't remember his face, but I still remember his action. But that is, there is still things that, that's happening in college campuses that can, that is actually good for the gospel. That will, there are a lot of students and a lot of various, organizations that is actually, faithfully, spreading good news in the college campuses. But one thing that I want you to basically to remember when you go to college or when you to go outside the world, because like up until high school you probably you're probably in your own cocoon and all those things, right? But once you are outside, there's a question that you need to answer, right? Why you need to be strong, why you're a kind of Christian, and that brings to the most fundamental questions, what is so important about the salvation of Jesus, what it is, why Christianity is so unique, which is the questions that we have today, right? And I'm not going to put you on the spot, but think about it. If someone asks you in the elevator, I always ask the 30 seconds elevator quiz, right? If you're in the elevator, right, as 10 stories building, you're at the bottom building, and you go to the elevator, and then you have a task. Okay, there are 10 people there, and you have a task. In 30 seconds, tell the people around you why you are a Christian. Think about it. Think about it. You don't have to answer me now. Think about it. Okay? Think about what you're gonna say. Okay? If someone asks you, in the subway, or if you go to Northern California, right? You go to BART, and then someone asks you, hey, you look like a Christian. Why are you a Christian? Right? Why? Right? So it's very important for us, okay, especially us that as a grow in church, okay, and to actually equip ourselves with understanding, with passion, that Christianity is really unique. Okay, that and the uniqueness of Christianity is that because it saves us. Okay, so today I'm just gonna touch a little bit, some of it that that's probably gonna give you some idea what you're gonna talk about with your friends in college. Even with your professors, and not only college, beyond college, when we go to the workplace, Christianity has become a pariah today. Okay, a lot of people view us as someone that as anti-science, as someone that was, we are not, we are not someone that can be talked to logically, someone that has a very antiquated forms of belief. Okay, and why is this Bible, the 2,000 years old, Bible is still relevant for us, right? So before we go in, I would like to read there's a passage from the Bible, and this is from the 1 Corinthians chapter 15, okay, and verse 12, starting from verse 12. Now if Christ is proclaimed as raised from the dead, how can some of you say that there is no resurrection of the dead? But if there is no resurrection of the dead, then not even Christ has been raised. And if Christ has not been raised, then our preaching is in vain, and your faith is in vain. That's a very, very bold statement from the Apostle Paul. Okay? And I'm going to touch this later on, but just to introduce you to this passage is that, here Paul is basically saying it's very easy for people to disprove Christianity. There's only one thing that people need to do to disprove Christianity, and that is to disprove that Jesus never was risen from the dead. Because if Jesus never risen from the dead, then Paul says that our preaching is in vain and your faith is in vain. This is very important. Okay? Let's see what's the uniqueness of the Christianity here. The first one. Okay. So the first one. Okay. Of course, the list is huge, right? I cannot complete. I cannot cover everything there. Even if I talk like days and days and days, right? But this is just a summary. Give you, something to bring, something that you can save. And that's why I'm preparing a PowerPoint so that you can actually see it better. Because sometimes if you just listen to someone talking and then that haze or sleepiness, just attack you, and in a split second you don't even remember what I'm talking about. Okay, so the first reason why Christianity is unique is the complete origin, and we talked about that several months ago, I think, in this group and also in the other group. That, because and this is in reply to a question: is human originally bad or originally good? Right? Are we born bad or are we born good? Right? Some people says that we are born good. Right? Someone like Mahatma Gandhi says that. Right? That we are born good. Some other people says that we are born bad. We are just a group of useless, hopeless, creatures that's born with bad intentions, with evil heart, and this cannot be cured. And then there's some other group that says we are born neither bad or neither good, and we don't care, right? And I think I told a story about I was born in Indonesia to a Chinese family. Southeast Chinese community is kind of unique because we believe in a combination of traditional Chinese religions, Taoism, Confucianism, and Confucianism and Buddhism. That's why in Indonesia or in Southeast Asia it's called Three Dharma. Three mean three, Dharma mean teaching, the three teachings. But as I think about it, it's very interesting. Okay? Because Confucius think that human is created good. Human are originally good. We are good. That's why the ultimate goal as a Confucian people are is a concept called Chunzi, or it's basically a gentleman, someone that is perfect. Okay. Now Buddhism, on the other hand, believe that we are born bad. Nothing in this world is good. Everything is bad. So then you ask, why you have Buddhism, Confucianism can join together with Taoism in one teaching in Southeast Asia? And the answer is because of that third aspect, which is Taoism. Because Taoism says, if you can explain something, that thing is unexplainable. If you can see things, that thing you cannot see. If you basically Taoism is just basically thinking that if you read Tao Te Ching, which is the writing of Lao Tzu, it's basically like full of things like that. Why we should not follow the world, but we should walk together. Don't ask me why. But I think that's the reason why they can survive. they can go together. But anyhow, back to complete origin. Christianity is actually the only religion that actually can have a comprehensive explanation about this, right? Because in Christianity, it covers both. Is human origin good or bad? It covers both, that human is created good. Human is created good because human is created in the image of God, right? We have the image of God in our self right now. Okay, we are created good. When in the Garden of Eden, in the book of Genesis, after God created us, God says that everything is good, right? Human is created good, but sin enters human's life. Sin stains that image and separates us from God. And because of sin, everyone now that born to the earth, were human, right? Hopefully everyone here born from human, right? We carry that sin we carry that, that desire to separate from God. And because of that sin, none of us no longer look for God, no longer seeking for God. And this is a comprehensive origin. Okay, so that's why when we are asked, when Christians is asked, whether we are coming from bad or good, this is the good answer. This is the correct answer. We are created good, but because we fall into sin, that every one of us now cannot go back to God. We are separate from God, and we have bad tendencies in our lives now because of this. Right? And this is very crucial, okay? Because not only that Christianity is the only one that has this explanation, but Christianity is also the only one that provides the answer to this problem, right? And because of that, it goes to the second concept, to the second point. Okay, why Christianity is so unique, and the second point is that who initiated the journey? Okay, man's life, okay, is a journey, right? From we are born until we die. Okay, it's a journey, right? But who initiated the journey? What is that journey about? Okay, there's a difference between Christianity and the other world religion, because the world religion has a constant concept, which is the human seeking God. All world religions, okay, there's always an effort by human to seek God. Now, some world religion doesn't acknowledge God at all, but they acknowledge something else that replacing God. For example, Buddhism, right? They don't acknowledge actually there is a personal God, right? But Buddhism is also searching something, right? They search, they search nirvana. They search, they want human to go to leave the cycle of samsara, the cycle of reincarnation, right? They always look for something. Okay, and all the world religion is like that. Okay, if you go to, Indonesia is the largest Muslim country in the world. So I interact with a lot of Muslims from there. And if you go to Islam, why people are very strict in following Islamic rule, because they want to get on the good side of God, right? They want to go to heaven, right? And all people like that. Why the ancient religions, they sacrifice babies to their gods? Because they want to get saved from the world, because they want to go to God somehow, right? And this is the difference between the world religion and Christianity. The world religions, all the world religions, human seeking God, while in Christianity is that God seeking human. Right? Remember that first point. The first point is that the question of origin, right? We are created good, but sin stains us. This is the solution, right? That is the problem. This is the solution, right? Because of that sin, we cannot go back to God. We cannot seek God anymore. Well, we can seek God, but we will find Him, or we will find Him on all the wrong places, right? The only way we can go back to God is that if God brings us to Him. And this is very important. This is the uniqueness of Christianity, right? That's why Christianity never say that you have to do, good things as much as possible, because if your good things outweigh your bad deeds, if your good deeds outweigh your bad deeds, you're going to go to heaven. Christianity never says that, because it will not happen, right? Christianity doesn't work with that skill, right? Skill theology, right? Christianity is not doing that. Christianity is having to do with grace and mercy, right? What is grace? What is the difference between grace and mercy? Anybody know? What is grace? What is mercy?
Mercy is you don't get what you deserve. Grace is you get what you never deserve.
Aha! Yeah, got it, right? Remember that. Yeah, remember that. That's grace and mercy, right? Mercy is we don't get.
We don't get what we deserve.
We don't get what we deserve. What do we deserve? We deserve God's wrath. We deserve God's punishment. But God says, I'm not going to give you that. That's mercy. Right? If you got stopped by a policeman because you're speeding and the policeman didn't give you the ticket, you say, oh, you give me mercy. Right? Right? Grace, on the other hand, is that when God gives you something that you don't deserve. Right? You don't deserve salvation. You have been separating from God. You have been like bad thing. You're treating God badly, but God still wants you back. That's grace. Right? That's grace. And that's why Christianity never says that you need to do your good deed have to outweigh your bad deed. Christianity says you have to have faith. You have to believe, because that's the only way you can grasp this understanding of grace and mercy through faith, right? Faith. Okay, so you have the question of origin, then you have to have the question of who initiated the journey. Now, number 3, coherent, honest, and testable record. When you hold your holy cell phone, because it has a Bible in it, right? Then you know that the Bible, right? It's kind of deceiving now because it's so small, right? I think you should bring that big Bible. You can appreciate how big the Bible is, right? Right? I have a big Catholic Bible at my home, right? It's so big, and you know all of those things, like thousand years ago, people actually wrote it by hand, right? So it's a big book, right? How many books in the Bible? 66. How many authors?
How many what?
Authors, writers.
40. It's 40 of us.
40 of them, right? 40 of them. And how long does it take to write from the beginning to end? How many years?
Hundreds of years.
4,000 years.
4,000.
Right? 4,000 years, right? So the first things that we need to know about the Bible is that Christianity has the Bible, which is we call the Word of God, right? This is what God is writing their messages to us, right? Delivering the messages to us, right? And that message consists of 66 books, 40 authors, 4,000 years of writing, but there's only one message. And that's the amazing one. That is unique. Okay? That is unique because you have books and authors after authors and thousands of years, but they keep having the same theme from start to the end. You're basically reading the love letter of God, okay, from beginning to the end, right? And then probably if you go to YouTube or you go to where you're probably going to be, the Bible is so contradictory. But always, whenever you heard a presentation or something like that about how contradictory the Bible is, I can guarantee you there's someone that's refuting. Somewhere. Okay, that's always like that. Okay, and this has been tested, right? If you look into if you go to YouTube, type in Jesus in books of Bible, you're gonna find like an 11 years old Josiah is actually reading this out of his memory. Right? So this is basically I don't know who wrote this, okay? But this is basically a summary of how you can actually find Jesus in all 66 books of the Bible, right? From Genesis to Revelation, you can actually see Jesus in every book of the Bible, right? This is all, of course, this is an oversimplification, okay? But if when you read the Bible, you're gonna get more appreciation of what is actually in it, right? And that's why it's very important for you to read Bible. If you haven't actually read Bible, regularly, I would recommend. Please start soon. before you go to college, or if your college already, you start soon. After any time you can start, okay? Because it gives you a lot of messages of life. It gives you a lot of life teachings that is, that's only useful for your life teaching, but also give you a glimpse of what God's plan is for your life. Okay. All right. Now, not only that the record that we have, the Bible that we have, not only that it's coherent, but it's also honest. Okay. It's also honest, right? And this is a big thing. Weakness of the men and women of God. Bible consists of a lot of prophets, a lot of holy men, holy women, right? And if you read the Bible, you can find that they are all just same sinful and weak, just like us. And this is a concept that is blasphemous for some people, like Muslim. If you are a Muslim, and you find someone, they call it Nabi. Nabi is a prophet. Like they call it Nabi Ibrahim. That's for Abraham. They believe that if they are called Nabi, that means he is a good, perfect person. And the fact that like the Bible actually show how Abraham is actually like somewhat is a coward, right? It's kind of like unnerving for them. This is not good, But the Bible is very honest. You hear how Abraham is a coward. You heard about how Jacob is a very cunning man, right? You can read how Elijah is very bold, but then suddenly just run away just because a queen just threatened him to kill him, right? And you have many men and women of God that is actually appointed by God or could occupy some offices, but they didn't do it well. God is actually end up like killing them, something like that. It's all over the Bible. Okay, it's very honest. It gives you this is human. What the Bible says is human, and the focus is still God. How God is still loving those human, loving us, right? The second one, the irony of the chosen people, right? Israel is a chosen people, right? Some people say, why Israel? Why not someone else, right? Why not Chinese? Why not Indonesian? Why not, chosen by God? Well, I don't know, right? But God has to choose some group of people, right? In order for Him to work His plan, right? He has to choose it. And Israel is chosen by God, right? To be His chosen people, to carry the seed of the Savior of Jesus Christ, Son of David, right? And it's very ironical is that basically, when Jesus came, He died because basically, who killed Jesus? His own people, right? His own people. Those chosen people, right? Jesus didn't die because Roman occupation. Jesus died because His own people want Him to die, right? And one time I brought a friend from Thailand who was a Christian to see the glory of Easter. At that time, there was a glory of Easter before it closed down. And we brought it to see that show. And after the show, she expressed her surprise. I said, "Oh, so far I thought when I heard about Jesus, she died. She was murdered by the Roman Empire. But from what I watched, it looked like that his own people actually murdered him." I said, "Yeah, that's correct. God's chosen people, Israel, protected by God, miraculously, right? Awesomely protected, years and years and years until the birth of Jesus Christ. Those people, those very people are the ones that actually killed the Savior. And there are a lot of them until now that still don't want to accept Jesus. How ironic is that? And how honest is that the Bible actually recording that? Right? right? It's a shame actually if think about it, if you are God, right, and you're writing a history, you're planning all these things, and it ends up like this. It's kind of like, you know, are you really successful or not, right? But this is actually show how successful God is, because everything goes according to the plan, right? Third one, the jealousy of God. Now, this is very interesting, right? Because the Old Testament, the Bible actually says clearly, God says, I'm a jealous God. Have you ever seen God actually says that? If you think about God, if you want to picture God as a, you know, as a cosmic Santa Claus, right? Or someone that is so wise, so nice, right? And then suddenly you read the Bible and it come to you says, I am a jealous God. Right? But he is honest. God is saying, you know, I'm a jealous God. Okay? I don't want any other God beside me. That's what God is saying, right? And not only that, God, with God's plan, protecting, you know, the Israelites, His promised people, His seed of salvation, there's a lot of things that's happening that actually, that for people right now, looking back into the Old Testament, it looks like it's a bad teaching. Can you imagine? You know, there's one of the argument against Christianity is that, you know, Christianity teach a lot of violence. If you read Old Testament, right? God actually commanded the Israelites to annihilate the whole nation, right? The Amalekites, right? And not only that, God even punished the people that didn't follow that order, right? So kind of like, that's a very cruel God, right? But think about it, okay? God is doing that to protect the seed of the Savior, the seed of Israel, of that Jesus Christ, the Son of David that's going to be born. Since the Garden of Eden, the fall of man in the Garden of Eden, right? The devil has one mission, which is to make the plan of God fail. And throughout that history of the Old Testament, you can see how the devil is diligently trying to make the birth of Jesus Christ impossible to happen. Right? It's almost impossible to happen. If you can see, you know, without any of the God miraculous things that He did, you know, Israel is just a hopeless nation. They're gonna basically just disappear from the earth, right? They become slaves in Egypt for hundreds and hundreds of years, right? How can they go back to the promised land, right? When they get to the promised land, that promised land now is already filled with not only people that don't believe in God. They're filled by not only just evil people. They're filled by giants. They're filled by people that the Israelites cannot conquer, right? Physically, you know, without the help of God. How can that happen, right? And God basically shows with this sometimes it's an unnerving, stories in the Bible that shows that God is actually holding Israel on His hands until the plan is actually materialized, right? And sometimes we don't understand that, and sometimes we judge God as cruel. Sometimes God is jealous. Sometimes we put God into characters that we don't desire a God to be. Remember, God is not a cosmic Santa Claus. He is actually the creator of the universe. Okay. And then the third one, you know, the record is not only coherent, honest, but it's also testable, right? Remember, there's the passage that I read earlier, right? Christianity is the only worldview, is the only religion, quote unquote religion, is the only belief system that is based on a historical fact. It's based on a historical event, right? Siddhartha Gautama claimed that he's born from the ear of his mother. I don't know how that can happen. I don't know where that happened at all, right? A lot of things, a lot of other world religion has a lot of myths. If you ask about how the ancient Chinese religions understand the creation of the world, it's a myth where there's a giant called Pu that suddenly that the body become dematerialize and separated into different little things that become worlds, become human, something like that, right? And many other myths around this world that try to explain their claim of religion, okay? But Christianity is the only one that can claim here. If Christ has not been raised, okay, then our faith is in vain. The whole Christian doctrine, the whole Christian faith is based on historical facts. You have to remember that. Okay? Until now, nobody has ever disproved Christ. Okay? If you look, there's a lot of things. I mean, you can actually look to YouTube and find the proof of Christ's resurrection, all those things. One thing that's very interesting is several years ago, research by Gary Habermas, if you remember. Gary Habermas basically do a research on all those New Testament experts, whether they are, they believe in Jesus' resurrection or they don't. Okay? So he doesn't care. He basically just look for all the experts. They call expert on New Testament. They do a lot of research and try to gather on what their conclusions are. Remember, these are people that not necessarily believe in Jesus. They don't necessarily believe that Jesus actually rose from the dead. Okay? And basically, Gary must collect them all of those things here, and then make a list. And from that list, he deduced that looking at this list, the consensus, all those things that all these people believe, not individually, but if you look into everything, you look into all the list, and just logically, scratch out all this that's impossible, all that's impossible, you can see that actually everything leads into the belief that Jesus actually rose. There's no way out. Even from those that believe in Jesus, in resurrection. Okay? So remember that when you go to college, when you go to other work, when you go to the world, okay, Christianity, the one that we believe right now, that you go every Sunday, sit in this room, listening to Kristen, listening to other people actually talking here. These are really the good news, and really good news because it's based on historical facts. All right. Number 4, Christianity is radical teaching. It's radical. Okay. Now, when I talk about radical, I'm not talking about blowing people up. Okay. I'm talking about something like absolute truth. Right? If you go to the world right now, you're gonna get mocked if people ask you, do you believe in absolute truth? And you say, yes, I do. You're gonna get mocked. Right? Because what is the magic world? What is the magic word in the world outside there? Tolerance, right? And believe. If you believe that you believe there's a truth, that an absolute, then people will say that you are intolerant, right? People that says that you are bigot, But Christianity holds that truth. There is an absolute truth. God created the world. This world finds to sin. There's only one way to go back to there's only one way to go back to God, and that is through Jesus Christ. Right? There's a lot. I would say there's some other world religions that will says that claim exclusivity of salvation, probably. But we are the only ones that back it up. With all the fact and with strong teaching. Okay, absolute truth. And number 2, see, only this one here is very radical, right? Love your enemy and pray or bless those who persecute you. Right? Who other religion has that? No. Right? There's no other religion that has that concept. Okay. Confucius was once asked by his disciple, teacher, are we going to do good to people that do us good? And he says, of course, you need to do good to people that do us good? How about people that do us bad? And Patricia says you need to pay good with good, and you need to pay bad with justice. Right? But only Christianity actually says, love your enemy. Right? Let's do some persecution. Okay? Last night in the home fellowship, I was sharing, and then what I was sharing is that a lot of people from from Muslims world, especially, they they start to believe in Jesus because they see how Christians, persecuted, but they still love other people, even love the people that persecute them. That practice in life, that radical practice in life, that's actually convert people, that actually trigger people to believe in Jesus, right? Radical. Right? And then we need to evangelize with love, right? Christianity wants us not only that we understand this concept, understand this belief, understand understand the concept that God provides us with way of salvation, but God wants us to be involved in His work, right? So that we actually spread that good news, right? We can actually spread that good news. We need to tell other people, right? We need to tell other people about Jesus, right? How do we tell other people? Pray about it. Pray about it, and maybe it's God will use you in your own special way to actually tell your friends about Jesus. But you need to do that. But you need to pray about that. Okay. In the midst of all the persecutions, in the midst of all the rejections that you're gonna face, we need to keep focus that we need to spread the good news, and we need to spread it with love. Okay. We need to spread love. Remember, love your enemy, right? And this is, throughout the years, Christianity is marked by faithful missionaries, right? Faithful missionaries that is willing to sacrifice their life, their families, go to the region where they don't know anybody, right? Where they don't get accepted, right? And just to tell people about good news. Right? I don't know if you have a story, story of there's a group of missionary. What is it called? Idiot. Idiot, the one that went to South America and got killed by a truck load, and right? They have a film for that called MYRTLE. Right? There's a group of missionaries. They got murdered by the tribesmen in South America, and you know what happened? Their wives actually went there to continue the work, and now those tribes actually, a lot of them are Christian. Right? There's no other religion that can have that kind of concept. Why? Because we are the only one that knows what is in store for those people, right? We need to have the understanding that Jesus wants us to spread the good news. Why? Because God loves the world. God loves everyone in the world, and God wants everyone to get saved. Okay, and then the last one that I'm going to cover today is sure destination, right? We looking back on the Bible is full of fulfilled prophecies, right? There are hundreds of prophecies in the Old Testament that tell about the birth, the life, and the death of Jesus Christ. Hundreds of them, and they all got fulfilled. They are fulfilled in the New Testament. Right? Because of that, we're pretty sure that when the Bible says about the future, that thing's also going to happen. Right? And it is a sure destination. Right? We have hope. We have way to go. We have a place to go. Okay, 100%. Every one of us will die. Right? 100%. Right? Unless we are Enoch or Elijah. Right? But Other than that, 100%, every one of us can die. And when we die, it comes to the question, where are we going to go? Are we just going to disappear? Right? A lot of atheists, they actually, sometimes I don't understand them, why they are so vehemently defending the concept that there is nothing after death. If nothing comes after death, they just disappear. And they say, of course, we disappear, nothing left of us. Well, tell you, we have a better story. Right? We are not going to end after we die. We have somewhere else to go. And we actually live there eternally. Right? And because of that, that is unique in Christianity. Okay? Because that is also encouragement for us to live according to what Christ wants us to live, and also to spread the good news more. Right? Okay. Now this is interesting. This is a side of you. This is a Jewish for Jesus. These are actually Jews that actually believe in Jesus, and they identify as a list of top 40 prophecies that makes them believe now that Jesus is actually the Savior, the Messiah, the promised Messiah. Right? Okay. So I want you to basically remember that the world is not always going to be friendly to Christianity, right? Especially if you're in college or you're in a workplace, right? There will be a lot of challenges. That's why it's very important. I don't know where you're going to go to college, if you're going to go, if you're not going to be here, if you're not going to be with your parents, you're not going to be in this fellowship, right? You have to remember, look for a church, look for a fellowship, look for a Christian fellowship, because that Christian fellowship will, one of the role is to serve you as as a filling station, right? To give you encouragement, to fill you up, so that you always have encouragement, you always have a reason to actually move forward, because you're always going to do this. Don't abandon church. That's my message. Okay. Remember, I wasn't a Christian when I was in college. Okay. When I got accepted to Berkeley, I had one thing in my mind: finally, I don't have to go to church. Right? But I went there the first Sunday. I was looking for church, even though I wasn't a Christian at that time. Why? Because suddenly I feel lonely. Suddenly, right? Okay. Last one, just to tickle your mind. Okay. This is one of the interesting things that happen in the Bible that tells you that God already has a promise since the beginning, since the book of Genesis. Okay. In the book of Genesis, God already knows what we're going to have, what we're going to plan, right? That's why we have predestination, because we know what God has done, right? If you look into the names of Adam's descendants, right? These are the names of the Adam's descendants, right? From Adam to Noah. Why I stop at Noah? Because what happened? What happened at Noah time? Everyone died, right? Noah. At Noah time, that's a great flood, okay? And so the first 10 humans that lived, these are the names. And remember, who's writing this? There are Jewish people, right? And the Jews right now still have those names, and they don't change the name, right? They still have that name, right? So it's not something that Christians, Christian people actually play around or something like that. No, this is straight from the Bible, right? Okay. So if you just look into this, and look how God actually gave, maybe I believe intentionally, but in a like a interesting way. Okay, how are you gonna see that? If you look into Adam, what does Adam mean? Adam means man, right? Adam means man. Seth means it's a pointer. The word Seth, the name Seth means a point. Whether this is Adam, have a son of Seth, and a son of Enos, and a son of Kenan, son of Mahalalel, like that, right? On the 10th generation. Adam means man, Seth means is appointed, right? Enosh, mortal. Okay, Enos is mortal. Kenan is full of sorrow, but don't name your son Kenan. Right? Kenan means full of sorrow. I don't know why they named that person Kenan. Right? But Kenan means full of sorrow. Okay? And then Mahalalel means the glory of God. Oh, that's a good one. Right? And then Jared. Jared means shall come down. Right? Enoch. Teaching. Enoch means teaching. Right? Methuselah. His death shall bring. This is another weird name. Methuselah. Lamech, the despairing. And Noah, rest. Now read that. Man is appointed mortal, full of sorrow. The glory of God shall come down. Teaching his death shall bring the despairing rest.
That's pretty resistant.
Right? Even on the first Genesis 5, right? God already spelled us His plan for salvation. Let's pray. Heavenly Father, we thank you, Lord, that you have given this small group of people faithfulness to hear about your teaching this Sunday. We pray that you can equip every one of us as we face the world, as we face people outside that do not believe in you, and face all the persecutions that come to our life. And we also pray, Lord, that we all have love to the world, to the people outside that do not know you, so that we can always spread good news to other people. We pray that they also gonna have a passion or have an encouragement to bring their friends, or their family and friends to this fellowship here, so that we can worship together, we can know and pray together in the name of Jesus. We pray for Kristen in Genesis that's ministering to us. Give them wisdom, give them health, give them joy as they minister to us. We thank you, Lord, for this family. May you always give us opportunity so that we can spread good news. We can also be a tool to your great work. Thank you, God. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.